Hi everybody, Julie Valenti here, coming to you from San Diego, California, where I continue to stay in quarantine as much as possible. I do go out and take walks, but I'm doing these videos and I'm writing blogs, and I'm doing that so that I can stay connected to all of you, and you can stay connected to the message that Wisdom and Recovery tries to bring to you about finding joy and peace in regardless of what's going on. And right now, are we ever challenged more than I think we've ever been to return to a place where there's joy and peace in our life. I just finished writing a blog. I try to do this every week, write a blog and then make a video that sort of corresponds to what I write. I usually write more and try to keep my blog short, although that's always a challenge for me. I do like to talk. But so I was blogging about an experience that I had last weekend. I so I'm quarantined, and mostly what I do every day is I do a little bit of work, and I listen to music, and I write, and I read, and I go for walks. And I walk around my neighborhood and walk around my neighborhood and continue to walk around my neighborhood and expand it. And, I have several different routes that I take. And, but after a while, I'm tired of walking around my neighborhood. Well, I heard last weekend that they opened the beach, and I thought, if I could just time that perfectly, I would go out later on in the afternoon. Most people, right around dinner time, most people will be at making their dinner, and it won't be crowded, I'm hoping. So I was very excited. I was going to go to the beach for the first time since February, and it's been gorgeous here. And some people are enjoying some pretty nice weather now also. I know that's fairly true for the West Coast and not so much over on the East Side, but so I couldn't wait to go out and be in the sunshine and dig my toes into the sand and see the sun sparkling on the waves and the water. And so I drove out to the beach. And when I got there, I immediately felt sort of these stress hormones begin to take over my body. So what was I seeing? I was seeing lots of people. People weren't keeping this proper social distance that we've been asked to do. Lots of people without masks on. And I tried to navigate my way to the beach, to the water's edge, and got there for just a minute and realized that the way I was twisted up and the way I felt in my body, I needed to leave. It was not what I wanted. It was not what I expected, and I didn't particularly get a feeling of safety there. So I left, but I was so angry and hurt. I was thinking about what people were doing, and it just had me so jacked up. So I started thinking about that, and right away what I go to is, I know that when my body feels that way, it's not good for me. Meaning that having an over abundance of stress hormones in my body circulating around is calling for a fight or flight behavior, and I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to flight. I'm already home. But the feeling in my body was still there as I kept thinking about how my experience wasn't what I had wanted it to be, not by a long shot. So I started thinking, what are the values, what are the concepts that I could use to help me modulate and drive down some of that stress that I was feeling in my body, some of that anger that my thoughts were activating. And so I thought of the concept integration. And when I think of the concept of integration, I say that is sort of the spiritual part of the 20 concepts. A lot of the other concepts are basically based on on neuroscience and their techniques and strategies to deal with conflict. But integration is the one sort of spiritual soft piece of the concepts. And I realized that I was in opposites. I was in right, wrong. Of course, I was right and everybody else was wrong. I was in good and bad. Of course, I was good and everybody else was being bad. Now, I had my mask. I wanted to do all that. So I realized that what I really brought to the beach was a companion, the critical judge. And for those of you that are involved in the 20 concepts and involved in the wisdom and recovery community, we know who the critical judge is. And such a sharp, angry entity, so to speak. So the critical judge was there in full force. Doing this work, we also know that there's the alternative, which is the gentle observer. So realizing that I had the critical judge out at the beach with me and at home with me now, I made a transition to bringing forward the gentle observer. And the minute I did that, the minute I got out of that critical judging thinking, my stress hormones the levels started to go down. I found that I could take a deep breath, my body began to relax, and I started to have some thoughts of acceptance. And I also thought about the Buddhist practice. One of the Four Noble Truths is that suffering, or the core of all suffering, is due to attachment. And that the Buddha simply says, practice non-attachment. Well, I realized I was very attached to that beach experience being a certain way. And when it was something other than what I was attached to, I suffered. So 100% the truth and validity of that statement, that at the core of all suffering is attachment. And that when we begin to practice non-attachment, accepting things the way they are, letting things just be, and staying out of that critical judging, and that there is a softening, and that there is a better way to feel in your body, and certainly a healthier way to live and to be in your body. So I wrote about it. I blogged about it. You can find my blogs on Facebook. You can find, if you're signed up for my newsletter at wisdomandrecovery.com, then you get my blogs automatically. At the bottom of every blog, there's a link that you can press, and it will take you to this video, the corresponding video that goes with every blog. I hope that you will reach out and read and listen and forward and share anything that speaks to you, anything that gives you that thought or that idea like, oh yeah, there's that alternative. There's another way of being in the world. I don't have to go with my first impulse, because usually our first impulse is that old wiring, that old ineffective survival wiring. And at Wisdom and Recovery, we create a whole panel of new, fresh, intelligent, and effective wiring. And so we notice when old wiring is activated. How do we notice? Well, we feel it in our body, just like I did. I could feel how twisted up I was. So as soon as we feel that, we say, I'm in old wiring. And what is the new wiring? What does the new wiring teach me and tell me, so that I can relax my body, create some feel-good hormones, and lower and diminish some of these stress hormones, which is really important right now, because there's a certain level of stress just going through this pandemic. So to have another onload, especially due to our own critical thinking, judging, and being attached to having everything our way, which is like, I mean, what sense does that make right now? So So I just wanted to share that there are concepts. There's 20 concepts. I wrote a book called Knowing How. If you're interested in these concepts and getting behind the neuroscience and the sort of divinity, if you will, of using these concepts in your life, please, you can find Knowing How on Amazon. You can sign up for my newsletter. I will send you blogs ongoing, and stay connected, because right now we're being asked to stay apart, but there's a way we can be together even though we're apart. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Thank you in advance for forwarding or sharing and increasing the community of what we call advanced, more intelligent thinkers, so that we can live in our bodies in a healthier way. So please be well, stay connected, and I will see you again soon. Bye.